Good morning, guys. Welcome to Words from a Friend podcast. I'm your host, Marty Carey, and this is the podcast that follows my book, Words from a Friend, a daily guide to a purposeful life. It's available at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. We're on a 365-day inner journey together, so happy and grateful to have you along. We're on day 90 of that journey already. Day 90. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. And today it's a continuation of yesterday, which was a crooked path to success. Today is a crooked path to success continued. A crooked path to success continued. In this part, it's kind of more my process when I started writing this book, I think, is because I remember taking my ride from Brunswick all the way out to Crooked Lake, every day to our place at the Crooked Lake House. And it's a beautiful ride. It's a beautiful ride out those back roads, no matter what season. And it's a great time to turn the radio off and just go right into that mindfulness practice. Your car can be your temple of learning. It could be either playing a great podcast of learning rather than the news or mindless stuff. You play your nice music for a little while, then put on something that's good for your mind. Put on something that's good for your mind. All right? Because every day is a practice in mindfulness. And the more we're reminded of that every day, the more we remind ourselves of that every day, the easier that new road becomes. And then it just becomes your road. Your road, you wouldn't think of taking any other road because the one you're leaving behind has got a bunch of potholes in it. And so you're leaving those ones behind and you're learning how to do it. That's the practice every day. That's the practice in your favor rather than just trying to practice batting away all of life's, stuff that comes at us. We learn to, we can learn to not have it come our way a lot more because we're walking in a different way. We're attracting differently and we're moving with the light, which is a different way altogether. Doesn't look any different from the outside, but boy, I'll tell you, from the inside, that's where it is. You learn the value of inner peace. Okay, well, let's get started on today's message. A crooked path to success continued. In my own case, I travel a group of crooked path. In my own case, I travel in a group of crooked path adventurers, each of us offering unique perspective on the rocks and the best way to read their message. I'm in a group. I have two partners. I have, my wife's in our group, my other wives in the group, Steph, and friends and family. It's just our family, in that big bus together, in that big bus on our journey together. So many of us have gotten off that old daily bus and back on it, or just have been grateful to be on that bus for a while, because it's a good ride. It's a good ride because we're looking out for each other and we're trying to, not get into other people's lanes and do our best to bring our own talent to the table. And that's it. Here's my talent, and they're all welcome. Okay. If you're blessed to have an adventurous traveling partner or team, you're indeed well equipped. If you're traveling alone on your personal quest of greater destinations, you will need others to get there. That is where you begin to build your network of fellow climbers. Well, your network in general. Your network is very important. So that's why you're just good to everybody. I always harken back to my best mentor, my mom. I just saw her be good to everybody. And I just, wow, that's such a cool thing. And then no matter where she was, it was doors open to her because she knew that it was her light, that was her greatest gift while she was here. Just to keep going back to it, despite the distractions and the potential for the pitfalls of anger and even falling in them and climbing your way out with the same thing, the light. You got to know the difference. And then you got to wield the difference. You got to wield the light. All right? No matter where you are, what you're doing. If you're in a team, if you seem like you're on a journey alone, like this says, you're going to need people to get to where you want to go. So how you treat people, always, is number one. How you want to be treated. That's the way you approach the world. How do I want to be treated? Even though I know very well that I am not going to be treated like that. You can't expect the world to be you. That is one of the biggest lessons of life. Don't expect others to be you. You can't expect that because it's impossible. Everybody's here is their own fractal of the whole, their own fractal, their own journey, their own lessons to learn, their own lessons to learn. So how do you harmonize with seeming differences in the world? How do you harmonize when you think, well, that one thing that they believe is enough for me not to ever travel in that circle? Well, that may be true, or it may not be true. But you'll know. Energy tells the tale. Actions are what tell the tale. Your mouth can be spitting it all off, but if your actions don't follow what you say, then your word isn't any good. You're walking around with useless word and you keep yapping it like it's going to become more important somehow. Unless you live in the truth, those words aren't going to be very important. Nope, they won't. They'll make you feel self-important, but not your true self, your ego self. Like you've got something important to say. No, just use your energy. Use your energy. The things that you have to say should have light in them. Light in them. We can. You got it. No worries. Come on, we can do this together. That's speaking in light. That's using encouragement over criticism. You can see it. You could certainly criticize if you're that, hey, oh my God, what are you, stupid? Are you kidding me? Oh man. Wow. No. That's what you're doing. Man, that was you at one time. That was you hearing somebody else call you stupid. How did that feel? Can't do that. No way to roll in life. Not if you want doors to open for you. You'll stay stuck in ego. Stay stuck in drama. You'll stay stuck in all the guilt and shame that can bring, but you'll never face. Nah, it's living in the mud. You can do better because you are better. You're way better. You're the light. You surrender to that light. Surrender doesn't mean, I give up. It's not giving up. It's giving into the truth and dismantling the lies that you've told yourself, about others, about ways of life that you just didn't understand, because you weren't looking over the top. You were looking from your ego perspective. Just that one little perspective. Supposed to see it all from there? You think you're going to see it all from that little human perspective? No, you're not. None of us are. That's why we're mistake makers. We make ourselves if we're paying attention to the mistakes and learn the lessons. They're not mistakes then. They're just lessons learned. Lessons implemented. Risen from. Because you don't repeat them. Okay? That's how you do it. You become the captain of your ship that way. And that's when the journey becomes worthy. When you're the captain of your own ship. You're not listening to the good opinions of others. You're sailing from your soul. You're sailing from your own soul. It knows the way to go. It knows the way to go. You don't put the oars in the boat. Your soul knows which way to take you. Right? But we fight that. Right? We're always trying to pound our way there. Force our way there. Well, there's force, and then there's power. It's different. Force versus power. The ego tries to use force to solve problems. But the soul uses light, which is the true power, which is the water that can go through any rock, can go through anything like that, penetrate anything, and recreate it. Break down what is not true. Break down what everybody thought was strong, but it was really weak. That's the ego. You're breaking it down a little bit every day to go, oh, I'm revealing the truth. You're revealing the statue within that's, your star within. You're really revealing your own light. That's exactly what you're here to do. You're here to do that a little bit every day. In your own little ways. You know what you're doing. You know what you did yesterday? After we talked yesterday morning, you went and did something. You went and did something special, I'll bet. I bet you went and said something special to somebody. Or you were patient with somebody. Or you were more forgiving. Or you're more forgiving of yourself. You're more loving to yourself. Well, I hope that's what's happening as you're watching this podcast. Because as I was writing these pages in the darkness, they were helping me. And so, even if it's just to remind you every day, remind you of your power, not your force, the feather or the brick, which one feels better to walk around in, light and airy, or dish, gush, bush, right? It's energy. It's energy. Your energy. And you can control your own energy. You can when you learn to do it. When you learn to do it. When you practice. Yep. Captain of your ship, babe. Okay, you, my friend, must be willing to fail on a daily basis without the self-defeating judge as your traveling companion and the voice that you've let guide you in the past. That judge will kill your dream as fast as a wink of your eye. That voice must be one you hear as contrast, not the one you give your power over to. You know? I heard the darkness telling me I was nothing, but I wrote the opposite in this book. And writing the opposite was my reminder. It's like, no, that's the liar, buddy. That's the liar. You can do it. You can do it. Let's get up. Let's get going. You know, some way, somehow, we're going to make an inch forward today. Inch that I didn't have yesterday. Inch that I didn't have yesterday. Because I just kept saying yes to the soul. Yes to the soul and no to that low-ass voice inside. All right. So set your sights on a worthy goal, a goal that benefits all of mankind and not one that's just meant to line your own pockets. Your goal must be a gift to others, filled with your love and passion in order to succeed long term. That's the longevity of anything, is your love for any relationship. It's the consistent giving of it, you know. And everybody can fall off. Everybody can fall off. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, you know, comes to the light in their own time. You know, if you can be that patient, you can be that patience. You'll see the gold in it. You'll find the gold. It'll come through, and you'll go, oh man, God, thank you. Thank you. You know, I wasn't always patient. I didn't always want to wait. I'm like, what is right already? You know, we're all like that. We can all be like that with God. It's like, come on. Relax and trust and have faith, okay? That no matter what happens, you're not only going to be okay, but you're going to come out stronger. Can't always see it. Certainly not right away. But the gift is there, nonetheless. You're going to rise. Your resilience is such a gift. Your own resilience is such a gift. It's the gift that's in everything in life is learning to be resilient. So these seeming boulders of life don't crush you. You can just learn how to ride on top of them for a little while till you can jump off. Yeah, it's mindset, mindfulness, learning to take over your mind and learn to live from the guidance of your soul rather than the dictates of the conditioned self. Just what you've known, just your own knowings from whatever you were told before you learned that there was much more to learn. There was much more depth to you. You're understanding deeper concepts and realizing that, I get that. I got that a little more, that little nugget of wisdom. I didn't understand that before. And the more further you go into your personal journey and you start listening back to some of these things, it was always my way. I mean, like I said, I've listened to hundreds of just audiobooks because if I read, I fall asleep if I read a book. That's why I wrote one page a day so I could do it. But in audiobooks, I just threw them on until I got ravenous. I want to see what this guy says about this. I want to see what this lady says about this. It was always the same thing. You always come back to the same thing. You always come back to that. Your light, and it is your love that is your power. And when you learn to wield that and be it, and not flail around in your ego, and learn to be calm and centered, and get your nervous system into line, to where you're not busting out cortisol all over the place and you're in fight or flight all the time. Believe me, I lived it. That's why I did it. That's why I needed to know. I needed to know that it was real, that you could do this. I needed to know that the light was real and that, you know, the attractive nature of it. And why? Why is that? Well, because we're all love. That's why it's so attractive when we connect in that. When we can connect in commonality, in anything, that light is turned on. It's like, okay, all right. I'm talking to somebody here who's into the kind of same thing that I'm into. This is awesome, right? But you don't know anything else about them but that one thing. But you're smiling at each other. You're communicating well. The harmony is there, right? So you can see that you can come together over a lot of the stuff in this world. Presses on us and says, you must believe this, you know, in order to be free. You must believe this in order to free others and all this other stuff. And it's just like, there's been so much bullshit, so many lies, that you have to become a truth seeker in your own life. Real truth. Real truth you're going to find is in love, always held in love, always held in connectedness, never held in separation, never held in, having to kill others because they believe something different. It's always about coming into consciousness to realize that it's all bigger than that. It's all way bigger than that shallowness of ego separation. So much bigger. Come on, this is a silly game. It's been a silly game for far too long. Today's CTA, jump out of your own crooked trail. No, jump out on to your own crooked trail. Listen to and learn from the rocks you hit. They are as much or more responsible for your dogged determination and subsequent success. Celebrate all successes, big and small. It's always a clear recognition of what the darkness shows us that leads us back to the light of all successes. Use love as your constant GPS on the road. Love for yourself when you feel like listening to the judge, and love the challenges that are there for you to rise to the top. Rise. The challenges, you got to use them to rise. Use them as your fuel. You can use your own self-doubt as fuel, and you can use others' doubt of you as fuel. Use it as fuel. Don't use it. Don't take it personally. Say, oh yeah, chuckle at thee. I chuckle at thee. Like the Wrath of Khan. I laugh at thee. But that's it. That's what you got to do. I laugh at thee. I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. And the stuff that I don't yet think I'm capable of, even if I've got a twinge for it and I can learn some of it and I want to, and that's where my soul is taking me, get out of the way. That's all I want to say. Get out of the way. That's what you say. Get out of your way. Ego. Get out of my way, ego. All right? Yours or anybody else's. Get out of my way. I've got stuff to do. I got things to create. I got a life to live. And if you're going in the same direction and you've got that same passion and you love to do it in harmony, in collaboration, over competition and ego, boom. Boom shakalaka. Jump on the train. Jump on that train. Okay, guys? That's it. Much love and light today. Go out and spread your light. Go out and spread your love. Much love to you and your family. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.